Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday's episode of the Morning Sales Step Up. 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 12 minutes, wherever we end up, to step up your sales ready for the day ahead. So big giant welcome if you're joining me here. If you are with me on the live stream, I would love to see a comment, say hello to me. I can only see you if you say hello. So if you don't say hello, then I don't know that you're there. And myself and Pirate Pete would love to know that you're with me today. So a big giant welcome. My name is Victoria Fleming. I'm a sales trainer and consultant, and all the way through lockdown number two here in the UK, I am live every morning at 9 a.m. just giving you a little bit of a sales boost for the day, because you know what? I think we all deserve it, don't we? We need a bit of love in the day before we go off and make all those amazing sales and have that fantastic day that I know that you're all getting ready for. Great. So what are we talking about today? Well, today I am talking about being ghosted. And actually, this would have been a great one for Halloween. I don't know why. We should have really sort of maybe done it then. We weren't in lockdown then, but you know, ghosted. Why not? It's the typical Halloween call, and we could have had a sales spooktacular and many other things. I do like Halloween, and we're now nearly at Christmas. I mean, where's the year even gone? But today we are going to talk about ghosted, because it is something that genuinely happens to every salesperson in the world. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I've got a few ideas. So I'm going to put, because we've only got a tight timeline, I'm going to put 10 minutes on Pirate Pete. He's going to keep us to time. He's got his own little platform today, so you can see him. Brilliant. There we go. He's like he's a bit scared by being ghosted there, right behind the sign, but there we are. So he's going to keep us to time while we talk about what we can do if we are ghosted by a prospect or actually by a customer, because this does sometimes happen with customers as well. So let me know, does this happen to you? Have you ever been ghosted, or do you not want to admit it? Suppose we don't. And the thing is that we get ghosted for a number of different reasons. And I think before that we really start to get irritated by it, because as salespeople, it's really easy to go, oh, I know they're there, they just didn't take my call. Or, oh, I can't believe they haven't replied to my email. I'm sure we've all done that. But actually, science, a more productive way of looking at it is actually to think about why, from their perspective, from our client's perspective, why might they have done that? So the first thing I think about is, why do people ghost us? Well, I think there's a few reasons. One can be that they see no value in the conversation or the interaction that we are having. So, yeah, Sam, this happens all the time. Yeah, it does. So one of the reasons for that could be that they see no value. I'm sure this isn't true for you, like Sam. This isn't like the challenge that you're having here. But it can be they see no value in what's about to happen. They can see no value in the conversation. They can see no value in replying to the email. So we really need to think about, okay, so where is the value? If they're not interacting with me, they see no value, therefore they see it as a waste of our time. They think, I'm not going to spend my time on that. And we're all time poor. Even in a pandemic, sat at home in our pajamas with nothing to do, we're still time poor. All right, so that's one reason. What's another reason? Well, another reason might be that they feel guilty. This might be like a really strange one, but quite often what happens is that prospects or customers commit to doing something. Yes, I'll read that proposal. Yes, I will return X, Y, Z to you. Yes, I will do A, B, C. And then what's happened? Well, they haven't done it, have they? And actually, it's not because they don't want to. It's because they haven't had time. They've been busy. There's been more important things on their list. So then when you ring or you email them again, they feel guilty. So they think, oh, God, no, I haven't done that. I'll not take the call. I'll not reply to the email. I'll just delete it. I'll just leave it. I'll come back to it. So we feel guilty. So that's a second reason why people might ghost us. And then we come on to the third one, which is that the third one is that actually they're just being super polite. And here in the UK, we can be very British. In fact, actually, I think it can be a global thing, really. People feel awkward about saying no. And I think especially towards the end of the sales process, it can get to the point where we've sent them a proposal, we've done everything they want us to do, we're just ringing back to get the answer, or we're just emailing because they haven't come back to us, and they don't reply. And it's because they're like, oh, I feel terrible, I've got to say no. Oh, how do I do that? So they feel difficult about doing it. So it's easier to not take the call and not reply to the email. So I think there's 3 great reasons why we get ghosted. It's either about the value, it's about the fact they feel guilty, or maybe they feel embarrassed and a little bit too polite to actually tell us to our face what they've already decided. So that's all well and good, but what are we going to do about it? Well, the first thing is, I think it's really helpful to actually think about, out of those 3 things, what could it be? Because dependent on the situation, we might be able to actually make some judgments about that. And based on that, we can come up with a super cool way of bypassing them. So let me give you an example of that. In the first instance, we talked about the fact they see no value. So what that means is they've had an interaction with us. It's gone great. We think so anyway. They've gone away and they've thought, that was a waste of an hour. Okay? So that means they're not going to give you any more time unless you give them a really good reason why. Now, a great way to do this is to think about re-engaging them with a WIFM, what's in it for me. So what is in it for them? What is in it for them actually re-engaging and having another conversation with you, either by phone, on email, face-to-face, however it might be. What value can you give them? Now, things that I've used in the past around things like this might be getting in touch, like, and not even mentioning the original reason, but literally leaving a voicemail or talking on an email about wanting to get in touch because there needs to be a reason, and the reason needs to not be what you're following up on. It needs to be something different. And that something different could be, because we've got this great event coming out, so I wanted to send you some tickets. I wanted to get in touch because we've actually had some changes around some of what we were discussing. And actually what I can now include is X, Y, Z. Give them a reason, give them a carrot, give them something. Give them a reason to get back in touch. It can even be I saw this and thought of you. You know, something that means that actually the pressure's off a little bit. They can look at it and see some value in it and go, oh, okay, that's quite interesting. All right, what's that about, Victoria? Can you tell me a bit more about that? So think about what value can you give? And if that can be something different, then that's super, super helpful. Thumbs up. I don't know who the thumbs up was from, but thank you for the thumbs up. We always like thumbs up. So, okay, so give them a piece of value, something different. And I quite like to use for this things like it might be a magazine article or a link to a website with something useful for them on. Just remember, though, it's about them, not about you. It could even be something personal. You know they really like horses. So you send them something about a news article about horses or an up-and-coming event about horses. I don't know, but you get the idea, okay? The point is, answer the value question straight away to reopen the conversation before you go back in with your sales conversation. So that's an example of how you can do that around someone who isn't seeing the value in your interactions. Now, there could be other reasons. And the next thing I said was it could be about guilt. Oh my goodness, we're so good at guilt. We feel guilty about so many things. Half the things we don't even need to feel guilty about, but we feel guilty anyway, don't we? So it could be about guilt. So if you're thinking about the fact that in your last interaction, they agreed to do something, and now you're following up with them basically saying, not had it, that's going to potentially give them some guilt, and they're going to avoid you until they've done the thing. Now, the challenge with that is if you can't move your sales process along until they've done the thing, then actually you're now stuck. So what you need to think about here is you need to think about what we can do about the thing to take it off their plate. So what is it that you can do so that they need to stop feeling guilty and instead can actually just move this along? Brilliant way of doing that. Oh, I'm getting bumped already. I mustn't have. Oh, it's a very quick one. I haven't been talking quickly enough today. So what you need to do here is see how you can take that off them. So, for example, if it's a case that you're waiting for a user list from them, or you're waiting for a set of numbers, or X, Y, Z, then think about how can you bypass that? Can you go back to them and say, look, I know you're super busy and you're going to come back to me with those numbers. In the interim, what I've done is I've had a quick look, and from my estimation, it looks like it will be for around, 200 users. So on the base of that, I've come up with some figures that we could maybe start to have a conversation around. What are you doing tomorrow? So the point is, try and take it off them and move along without it. The other thing is, in an ideal world, think about how you can keep control of the actions so you're not leaving stuff like that with a prospect or a customer because they are busy, they don't do it, and then your process gets stuck. So wherever possible, why don't I get in touch with Bob from IT and see if I can just get that number for you? That would be easier for you, wouldn't it? And then I know the questions to ask. Let me do that and I'll come back to you. What's his number? Much better, because actually now you've got control of being able to go directly to the person you need to have the conversation with. So always think, how can you bypass that and remove that guilt? And the last thing, don't tell Pirate Pete. Don't tell Pirate Pete, because this is extra. The last thing is about if somebody doesn't want to say no, if they're being too polite, so they're ignoring you because they don't want to say no to you. Now, if that's the case, again, this is really difficult because in sales, we want a yes or a no so we can move on. Actually, when it's this gray area in the middle, it can really quickly get difficult because you're chasing, and actually you just start to irritate people. So I think you definitely want to take a break and take a sit back. If you've given someone a proposal and you've not heard back from them and you can't get hold of them, I would be really tempted to get back in touch by email, by phone, whatever it might be, and actually say, look, I haven't heard from you for a while. I know this is quite a priority. If you don't want to go ahead with this right now, that's totally fine. Just let me know and I'll take you off my callback list and we can pick up down the line. Give them a way out. Now, what's really good about that is at least you know. So, at least you know, and you've taken the pressure off them. You've made it okay to say no. And then when you get that email back saying, actually, yeah, it's not for us, what I would quite often then do is give them a ring and say, oh, I just got your email. Want to let you know, I'm going to take you back off the all my lists. One of the things I was going to do is pop a call back in for a little bit down the line. When would it be best for us to do that? So at least I'm actually hooking on the next opportunity. So if you're being ghosted, think about which of those three reasons could it be down to? And actually, could those three approaches work for you? I'd love to hear how it goes up, how it goes down for you. Chris, break up on email. Not your relationship, obviously, but yeah. I'll be getting wrong for telling people to break up like that in a moment. But yeah, you might want to think about that. Okay, so it's been great to have you here today. Now, tomorrow at 9 o'clock on our Morning Sales Step Up, we are going to be talking about voicemails. They are your friend and your foe. So if you're going to leave a voicemail, you need to make sure you do it right. So join me at 9 and I'm going to give you all my top tips around leaving the perfect voicemail. Until then, if you don't already follow me, make sure you follow me at the top so you get a notification next time I go live. And just have the most amazing day. Go out there, sell loads, have fun, and let me know in the comments. Have you managed to unghost anyone today? Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.